Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Line Plans. Today, as you can tell by the title, we are diving into another currently inked video. We're going to spend a couple moments just chatting about how things went for the last month with inking, what worked, what was an absolute disaster. And then we're going to move into just doing a little bit of swatching of a few of my inks here, and we can kind of make a decision on what's kind of going to be inked up in my pens moving into the month of July. But really, when you're watching this video, it will be named, I don't know, either June or July currently inked. Anyway, if you wanted to see all the ink selection that I have lined up for the next month, then just stay tuned and let's just dive in. And of course, if you love videos like this, then make sure that you subscribe to the channel. You can also check out the membership that we have on YouTube, see if it's in alignment for you, where you can see early access videos, you can see behind the scenes footage, all of the goodies, and of course some of the videos that I don't necessarily share here on YouTube. So I apologize if we're not having proper sunlight happening today. I might actually adjust my lights. We are working with natural light today, and so especially with ink swatches and things like that, I will make sure to include footage in natural light so you can have a nice close-up and you get a sense of how the ink is actually looking. All right, now I do feel like I do have more pens lined up here than I have inks. Let's talk about first last month. Just a quick heads up, I already de-inked all of my pens and I cleaned them up so they are ready to go, which is very, very unusual for me, but honestly, I just wanted to make sure that it gets taken care of. And let's take a look at how things went for the month of, I would like to say for the month of June, because that's primarily when I was using these inks. So we had, what did we have? So here's a lineup that we had for last month. Here we are. So we had the Diamine Blue Edition. We had the White Lammy inked up in there. I didn't mind it. It's extremely staining. Like even as I was cleaning it, it was just, and to be fair, I still don't think that, no, there's still some left. And I mean, I washed this numerous times. So I find this to be an extremely leaking and kind of like a dying ink. You know what I mean? You know when you have inks that just kind of stain everything? That's what this felt like to me. So I was quite excited to just, you know, just kind of wash it out and clear it out. I will have to clean this again before I ink it up with something else. But it was a beautiful color. It looks really pretty. It 100% reminds me of the Spruce County Post from Ferris Wheel Press. So if you have that color, writing experience is really similar to that color. Next up, we had a London Toolbar Sun Moon Lake Ruby, and we were using that in my Pilot Prera. I personally don't care for this color. I thought that it would show up a lot more bold. I thought that it would get a lot darker than it did. So I was quite excited to just kind of like swap it out. It literally wrote kind of like a burnt orange type of thing, but it wasn't as opaque as I would like it to be. So it wasn't, unfortunately, my favorite. Next up, we're moving into Sailor Shikiori's Do You, and I'm actually tempted to bring this color back because I loved it so much. The only thing is I feel like I put it in the wrong pen again. I don't know, for some reason we're really having a moment with Mizutama right now, the Sailor Mizutama collaboration. This pen, I'm having a hardest time actually inking it with the right ink, where everything flows. It's not a quick drying ink, but I'm looking for more of a wet ink. But I think with the selection that I have for this month, I think we're going to find what we're really looking for. I would love to bring this color back, or there's another one that I have, but this was basically writing similar to a black. It didn't really show up as a dark brown, if I'm being honest. But nevertheless, I did enjoy this color, and I think that it's beautiful, and I'm planning on bringing it back. Sailor Shikiori's Shimoyo. Oh no, never mind. I'm so sorry. I'm going to back up here. So Sailor Shikiori's Do You, that was actually in mint tea. Okay, now that I'm finding myself. So it was in this pen. I loved it. It wrote like a black though. So even though your swatch here, it looks more dark brown, I still stand by what I said a moment ago that I'm planning on bringing it back. I do really enjoy this color, and I think I wouldn't necessarily put it in this pen in particular. I think that this would do really, really well in one of the Kuwaikos, so I think that that's what we're going to do this month. Now moving on to Shimoyo. Shimoyo in the Mizutama collab, it's still really faint for me, even though the actual swatch seems really dark. So like if you kind of take a look, it's not a light color by any means. So like I said, I do struggle with inking this pen with something that is bold enough, and it becomes satisfying when you are kind of writing with it. So it's almost like this needs to have like a black color, or it needs to have like a nice runny darker color. And I do have a couple of selections for that. Moving on to Nagasawa Kobe's Ikuda Orange. I love this. I had it actually inked up in my Peach Kuwaiko. I really like this combo. Because I consider this Peach Kuwaiko sort of my daily writer, like I kind of reach for this pen quite often. I would actually like to have something a little bit darker moving in for this month. So I don't know why I'm constantly drawn to darker colors, but like there's only so much that you can do with lighter colors, you know what I mean? So right now everything just feels a little wet, mainly because I literally just washed everything. But I mean, I love the color. I would use it again. I do think it's a really pretty color. I think that this would actually do really well in some of the sailors, or it would do really well in Pilot Prera. Although I really don't want to put another like peachy orangey color into Pilot, because I also consider this to be like a daily writer. So it would do well in one of the Kuwaikos again. Nagasawa Kobe's La Maya Lapis Lazul. This was in the Yoseka collab. Oh my gosh, it was such a beautiful, stunning blue. It was such a joy to write with. It was flowy. It wasn't quick drying. It dried in like a normal time frame, in my opinion, where it wasn't so dry. So when I say it's not a quick drying ink, what I actually mean is it dries in like a normal, decent amount of time, but it's not such a quick drying ink that literally you're constantly having to push ink through because it's literally drying up your pens. So that's kind of what I mean by not a quick drying ink. But please don't misunderstand that. Like if you ever wanted to see like a real time of how long it actually takes for the ink to dry, it doesn't take very long. Moving on to Sailor Shikiori's Mirai. Okay, we're gonna go with that. It was in Ferris Wheel Press. I don't know, like I'm just having a moment with not wanting to go back to dark greens right now. So I felt like this was blending together with my Season's Greetings from Diamine Blue Edition. So I don't know, like it was okay, I guess. Eventually I was just ready to just kind of change things up and use something different. Big disappointment from Dongding Oolong Tea. This was in the Navy Kuwaikos. I totally forgot about this color. It was faint. I felt like it was very drying. It was very drying for the pen, and like I'm constantly, again, pushing ink through. Granted, I wasn't using this every day, but it just feels really scrapey whenever I'm using it in the pen. So this was not my favorite, even though I really love the swatch and I love the color. And Sailor Shikiori's Hara Hara is actually in my white Kuwaiko, and I'm going to continue to leave it in here because it's such a beautiful color. I did, like, look, oh, just, I mean, right now, like, we need to stay here. I did use it in a couple of journaling sessions, and I'm content with this combo, so I'm not even going to change anything. Okay, now that we have established that, I'm actually going to put this book aside because this is no longer going to be used for ink swatches. I'm actually bringing in the bigger brother from Stalogy, and I wanted to change its purpose, so I'm going to be using this for ink profiles and all the things inking and anything that I choose to use this for. So let's talk about, now I'm going to just set the pens aside. At the very end, I will bring the pens back so that you can see which ink received was inked into which pen. But the lineup for this month is at least the swatch lineup that we have happening right now. We have Sailor Shikiori. This is Kasasagi. We also have Guitar Fountain Pen ink, Melancholic Blue, which I haven't used for a while. I'm tempted to actually bring another color from Guitar because I love them so much. Then we have Pilot Arishizuku's Yamabudo. It's a really stunning, beautiful burgundy, but it's really nice and vibrant, which I think would be really pretty for summer. And then next up, as I'm cleaning it, next up we have Writing Desk. Again, another oldie but a goodie. I really, really love this from Ferris Wheel Press, and it's, in my opinion, not nearly talked about enough. And then for the little swatches, we have another color from Pilot. So this is Pilot Arishizuku's Fuyugaki. I haven't used this, and I looked at the swatch and it was absolutely stunning. So I'm actually really excited for this. Then we have Sailor Shikiori's Murai, which I mentioned that I'm going to be bringing back this month. Next, we have Pilot Arishizuku's Yamaguri. So it's a little bit different than Yamabudo. And then last but not least, we have Sailor Shikiori's Shimoyo. So let's get swatching. By the way, if you do enjoy videos like this one, where we are inking our pens and we're talking about ink profiles and swatches and all the things and reviews of pens, make sure that you not only subscribe, but you can also check out the membership that we have here on YouTube, where you get access to, you have early access to videos, you have behind the scene footage, and sometimes I also release certain videos that are only for members. So if you're interested, make sure that you check that out. And now back to the video. So just as I was doing the swatches, this is almost completely dry. There is a tiny bit of wetness still here. I mean, I did this part where the ink saturated a little bit more. It is a little bit wet, obviously. Here with Guitar, this is almost dry. We're about halfway there. We're getting there with this one as well. This will take a moment to dry, so we will be right back. So now that everything is dry, we can move on to next Writing Desk. So now that we have finished all the swatches, I'm going to just ink up all my pens, and then I will show you in order which ink received which pen, and then we will chat a little bit about it. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, I think we have it all figured out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the ink and the pen that I decided on. And so far, I feel like we might have made like some pretty good calls here. I will say, and I will preface this, Lammy is out this month. I don't know, I can't handle, like right now we're just not feeling her. And I know that I'm not going to be traveling with her, so she can just sit this month out. Let's start with Sailor Shikiori Kasasagi. Mizutama got this one, and honestly, don't mind my hands, like whatever. But like, look, it's showing up so beautifully, and it has like literally not a strong correlation to the actual deep swatch that you see here, which is really cool. So I think I might actually be really happy with this combo. Next, with Guitar Fountain Inks and Melancholic Blue, we went with Kaweco Mint. And Kaweco Mint, let me just see, but from initial swatch, it's like the most brightest, beautiful, light blue paint. light blue, not blue pink, light blue. And it's actually interesting how the ink and the color that's inside the ink is actually kind of matching, so I'm quite happy about that. Next up, Pilot Irishizuku Yamabudo went to Ferris Wheel Press, and again, I do feel like this is going to be a good call. Just look at the swatch. This is the actual swatch. It's really, really, really pretty, and it kind of shears out a little bit more, so we're not getting that depth that we see here in the middle of the swatch. So I think that this is going to be really nice and beautiful and legible. Then next up, we're on to Writing Desk, and we went with the Sailor Yoseko collab, and I just did initial swatch. It looked stunning. So here she is, very, very nice. I think it's a stunning brown color. Again, very underrated. Next up, Pilot Irishizuku again, back with Fuyugaki, and I gave that to Sailor Mint Tea collab, or the Sailor Mint Tea release. Very, very pretty, and I think that this is going to look really stunning in this pen, and I can't wait to actually journal with this. Next up, Sailor Murai went to Pilot Para, which again I think is going to be a good call because it's a dark enough color, but I still think that it's going to be nice and legible. Like, oh, beauty, beauty, beauty. I'm so happy with this. Last but not least on this page, just down here, we have Pilot Irishizuku Yamaguri, and it went to Peach Kueko. Now let's see. I do think that I need to run this through a little bit more, just so that we get that, you know how sometimes right now the whole thing, like even the actual barrel is a little bit wet because I had to wash it, just because there was literally ink everywhere. Not bad. I think this is going to be really nice and legible. I am pretty happy with it. And last but not least on the docket, we have Sailor Shikiori's Shimoyo, and I gave that to Kueko Fox. So here she is. Again, I do think that I need to kind of push a bit more ink through because both of these colors are dark enough that it can make a difference here. But sometimes we do need to kind of flush the ink through just a little bit more so that it becomes a little bit more, oh, not what I had in mind. Just so that it becomes a little bit more saturated, you know what I mean? And right after I wash my pens, here we go. It's starting to look a lot more legible. I really like it. So we will see how this kind of works out. And of course, I already showed you the last one, the white Kueko, and I do have the swatch available from last month. That's Sailor Shikiori's Hara Hara. Now, if you wanted to see a side-by-side swatch, it looks stunning. Right? So I mean, I didn't even want to change anything here because I do think that this is a great match. So this is what we're going to go with for the month of July. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out and for inking up your pens and, you know, messing up your fingers the way that I have. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you did, you can support the channel by giving it a thumbs up. You know, hit the notification bell, do all the things that just kind of supports the channel. Obviously, you hanging out with me absolutely means the world to me, and I so appreciate you guys. If there is something that you wanted to see next, or you wanted to see more in-depth videos, please comment below and let me know. And for your question of the day, I would love to know, what is your favorite ink for the month of July that you're just cannot wait to use? Comment below, let me know. I would love to hear from you. And in the meantime, keep planning, keep journaling, keep inking your pens, and I cannot wait to see you in my next one. Bye.